It's another Fourth Art Saturday video hop organized by Meri Atelier. Please follow the description box below for the links to the other crafters and artists. Hello survivors, our family and friends, this is Roy from Bootsie Sweettarts Guide to Life. Another disappointing experiences with the theme for this month's hop, video hop, the alphabet. Interpret an alphabet in your own chosen media. Let's have some fun. When I first read the theme, for some reason my mind went right from letters to letters and optical illusions. Optical illusions are so much fun. As a teacher, one of the things we want to instill into the children is that sometimes what you see isn't really what things are. They appear different than what they really are. So for example, the kids love this kind of thing. Which line is bigger? Are they the same size? And of course, we've all been through this one. And we know that if we take the arrowheads away, the lines are exactly the same size. So our eye has been fooled, the trompe-l'oeil. A lot of us recognize this famous optical illusion. Let's see if I get her on the screen here. What do you see? Do you see a young woman glancing away or an older woman looking down? Here's the older woman's chin. Here's her eye. This is her nose. And here's the younger woman. Here's her hair. This is her hat. A feather in her hat. Here's her chin, her nose, and eye. You stare at it, squint at it, and just in case, here's a simpler version of it. You can see the older woman's chin, and now if I cover that, you can see the younger woman's face. The piece of artwork I saw was a wooden piece of art. Close up, you can see letters for J-E-S-U-S, Jesus. And in real life, it's more difficult to see, but the further back you get, the clearer the image comes in. When you're close up to this, of course it doesn't look that way here, but when you're close up to this, the letters look more difficult to see. Here it is in another form, and you can see it, if you stare at it, it goes back and forth between a pattern and words. So my thinking was to take a word and make a fabric panel out of it, but making sure that I use this trompe-l'oeil kind of optical illusion. So I chose the word love, and I made some graph copies, just simple block letters, and I made it on a 1-inch grid. This one is obviously too clear, too easy to see, so this color combination didn't work. Well, now I'm getting a little closer. Now it's getting a little bit more difficult, and as you get closer and closer to it, it's harder to distinguish the whole word, but as soon as you move back, it's a little bit easier to distinguish. Then I decided that a pattern where I rotate a pattern fabric, the same fabric, to spell out the word is really a nice piece of artwork for a wall hanging. So let's see how I did this. So since my mosaic is going to be made up of 1-inch fabric squares, I figured I could work right on my cutting mat, and I had some 1-inch grid paper, and I just marked off where each letter would be, and then cut out the letters so I can use these as my guide. So now that I have the pieces cut out, I'm going to use the clearest diagram that I have and put my guide letters on to the grid and follow the pattern. So here there are, to the base of the V, there are 1, 2, 3 empty boxes. So it's 1, 2, 3. So this is a square goes here. Then there are 2 that go here. And 2 that go here. And then there are 3 down. 2 across. And 3 down. We have our O. The L just happened to come out in one piece. And the L is 2, 1, 2 from the bottom of the O. So there's our word. This will be tiles, fabric squares in one direction, and I'll turn the fabric squares in another direction for the outline. I'll show you how I do that. Well, what would a Bootsie video be without a blooper? Plan ahead, and read your notes. I cannot use my cutting board because I'm going to be adhering the letters, or the squares, to fusible interfacing. And I can't put the iron on there. And I had intended to use this and just forgot. So, moving on, I laid out the letters on the quilting cut and press. Now that this is all set up correctly, I'm going to put over the design a very thin interfacing. Little tiny bubbles are up, facing up. And I'm doing this because I can see through this. And I'll put a little tape here and there just to hold this down. I don't want things moving around. And I have prepared a box, a whole collection of squares. Lots of squares. And the idea is going to be to put some of them vertical and some of them horizontal, so they'll stand out and be contrasting. Now, because this is fusible, I'm able to take a little craft iron and glue the pieces down, at least tack them down. So if I take one here, here's one for example. I take it, oops, I'm going to have to get a little stylus. Here's an little old knitting needle. And I'll put that down here. And that's going to adhere the square to the fusible interfacing. So what I've decided to do by accident, haphazard, is to have these vertical. I didn't really originally want them vertical. Let's see if I can get this one off and put it, yes, this comes right off. I meant to put it on horizontally. It was just something no rhyme or reason. Okay. So now what I'll do is I'll fill out all of the letters of the word love. All right, so this is lovely. Now what I'll do is fill in all the other squares with vertical lines, and we'll see how this turns out. I'm expecting a good result, so we'll see. Let's see how nice this is going to be. And I'm not being too fussy about the lines matching up. Could get a little bit crazy lining everything up, so I'm going to let the serendipity happen. Well, after pasting and gluing and heat and adhering and fusing, this is what it looks like. I'm really starting to like this. I'm now going to just hit it with an iron and have that fusible web stick to the squares. I am liking this. Oops. This is being very careful not to get to the edge where a little bit of the web sticks through. Now my inspiration for this pattern using stripes came from something I saw online, and it's, as it gets closer to the camera you can see the letters. It just seemed to make sense that you could get a standout pattern if you went in a different direction. I trimmed the interfacing off, and I still haven't squared this up. This has to be squared up, and I'll do that after I do some stitching on it. I'm probably just going to do some lines of stitching. See how that turns out. Well, this is the finished panel before I've bind it up and put a backing on it. I did a feather stitch between each row and column. The looseness and haphazardness I kind of like, but I think it would be more dramatic if I took more time and had everything exactly straight and square. That, though, may not happen. That is a lot of work. So I don't imagine I'm going to be doing that. Let's just take a measurement. It's 22 by just short of 8.5, a smidgen short by 8.5. This would make a nice wall hanging. This, of course, was a prototype. I wanted to try this and see how this worked out. Well, here's our finished product. I bound it with just a regular old wraparound binding technique with a dark fabric. I think that made it pop out a lot. I like the way the word does come out when you really concentrate on it, but kind of disappears at times. It's very pretty. I like this. What I did also was looked through my stash and found some browns and tans and muted earth tones and made a second one. And here is that one. This one I love. I love this one. It's really classy, and I'm pleased with it. And again, I used the wraparound simple border binding. This was fun. Meridel, this was a fun challenge as always. Making art with the alphabet. Lots of fun. Thank you for sticking by this video. Thank you for supporting the Hop. I hope you enjoy the other crafters and artists. Thank you, and please consider subscribing, hitting the thumbs up, sharing this video. And as always, stay smart, stay well, stay safe. Do something today to make you smile. Bye for now.